Andre can now be an excellent Lavia alternative. Liverpool have contacted Fluminense regarding the possible transfer of midfielder Andre, and Reds manager Jürgen Klopp is continuing to rebuild their roster. Sky Sports claims Liverpool is in talks with the Brazilian Serie A team after seeing a second offer for Southampton's Romeo Lavia be rejected. Andre has a market capitalization of €15 million. While Fluminense is reluctant to leave one of their most coveted assets mid-season, the player is tempted by the prospect of moving to Anfield. The Reds have strengthened the midfield with deals for Alexis Mac Allister and Dominic Szoboszlai this summer. But the departure of Fabinho and Jordan Henderson has left a void that needs to be filled on the defensive side of the centre. With Lavia's arrival at Anfield in the balance, Liverpool seem to be making contingency plans in case the £50 million Belgian doesn't make it to Merseyside. However, this may vary. Liverpool can sign both players. There's no magic wand to fix the issues that plagued Klopp's cast last season. But the transfer business so far looks promising, with work still to be done with a little over a week before the season opener against Chelsea. Herein lies the problem: the sale of Fabinho provides little protection in the defensive midfield. The Reds will need to sign a new number 6 and move quickly to integrate the new names before the brutal pace of the campaign. So if Liverpool fail to make any progress on the Lavia deal, tacking the 22-year-old leader, as hailed by talent scout Jacek Kulik, may be a good move. Andre can shine on a team looking to regain the ball. His stats and move timing look pretty impressive. His fiery energy in the midfield has ranked him among the top 1% of midfielders in men's next 8 divisions and the top 6% for successful picks per game. And given that he has averaged 7.1 SofaScore ratings in 14 games this year, completing 94% of his passes, 0.9 key passes, 2.1 steals and 1.5 interceptions per game, he looks like the missing component of the Liverpool team and someone who could excel in English football. It's important to note that Andre takes a very different approach to the table than Lavia, with the Fluminense star being described as a controller by Sky Sports' Melissa Reddy, while Southampton's early starlet is a progressive destroyer. What this effectively means is that Andre will bring composure in possession and smart awareness in distribution, while Lavia will recycle the game and reject opponent advances with defensive practice. The 19-year-old is among the top 4% of midfielders in blocks per game in Europe's top 5 leagues, but only among the top 22% for pass completion. Liverpool are now assessing their options and trying to devise the best plan going forward. While Andre is different from his Belgian friend, his qualifications are undoubtedly capable of making a different impression on Merseyside. He has the features that will stamp his style of play on Klopp's team. Cody Gakpo discusses the offensive rivalry at Liverpool. While the defense is sometimes questionable, Liverpool's forwards have been putting on some pretty fiery performances in the pre-season. Gakpo, Mohamed Salah, Darwin Núñez, Luis Diaz and Diogo Jota have scored 12 times in 4 matches. Gakpo, who signed a contract in January this year, has scored 2 goals so far in Liverpool's friendlies. He will likely compete with Núñez and Jota to become Liverpool's regular starting centre-forward. But all 3 players have the versatility to play wide when needed. Speaking after the Bayern game, Gakpo described Liverpool's great offensive depth as positive for the season and said he was not worried about the competition. The Dutchman said, "We have a lot of options. We have a lot of games, so we can choose which option we need for each game. I think we have some great options and it's good for this season." The 24-year-old Gakpo is a favourite of many to start in a central offensive role against Chelsea on the 13th of August in Liverpool's Premier League opening, which was impressive in the second half of 2022-2023. The Dutch national team player scored 7 times in 21 matches, including a memorable boost in the 7-0 victory against Manchester United. He has even been compared to the great Roberto Firmino for his ability to connect the attack from a deeper, fake 9 role. Talking about his favourite position recently, Gakpo said, "As a fake number 9, I can drop a little bit into the midfield, stay a little deeper, look at the situation and start the attacks. I don't have to wait for an attack to come to me. It's nice to be involved in the games. It's hard to say which position I prefer, because it depends on the game and the opponent. I just like being in a position where I can hit the ball a lot. I like to move it from midfield to the offensive side and then hopefully score or assist. I prefer to just play. You have to change things tactically when you play different roles, but you get used to it. It's that hard, not, he said. When Cody Gakpo was transferred in January, there was an image that shocked everyone. The Dutch were preferred instead of the midfielder that Liverpool really needed. At that time, Manchester United were seriously interested in the player, but Liverpool managed to sign him. Although he performed somewhat sluggishly in his first matches, he later managed to improve his form. Especially the great football in the Manchester United match was eye-catching. Gakpo has managed to be one of the key players in the last part of the league and is now performing in the friendlies as well. If the Dutch player maintains this form, Darwin Núñez's job will be very difficult. He is also in an advantageous position as he is the only person on the roster who can replace Firmino as the fake 9. Gakpo can also play on the left wing in a game with Núñez, because this is where he was originally from before he was transferred from PSV, and now he's trying to co-evolve with Klopp. In this regard, he has come a long way in a short time. Zinchenko says Liverpool have a better attacker than Riyad Mahrez. Arsenal defender Alexander Zinchenko has called Liverpool's Mohamed Salah his toughest opponent ever. Zinchenko has spent several battles with Salah over the years, both at Manchester City and now at Arsenal. The Ukrainian, who recently played as a left-back, has often faced Mohamed Salah directly. When Rio Ferdinand asked him to choose the toughest player he's ever faced, Zinchenko's response was perhaps not surprising. "I think it's Salah," the 26-year-old replied. "I also respect Riyad because I played against him in Leicester, but Salah is an absolutely explosive and unstoppable winger. And when Mohamed Salah gets the ball at his feet and picks up the pace, it's impossible to stop him." Anyone who watches Salah will know exactly what the Arsenal man is talking about here. Whenever Pep Guardiola chose to put his Ukraine national player into the game against the Reds, it was always good news. He just didn't know how to deal with Salah. It's no surprise that Liverpool's King of Egypt is one of the toughest players this generation has faced. His records speak for themselves, and no matter how he ages, he always seems to be one step ahead of his competitors. However, Salah often doesn't get the full recognition he deserves from the wider football world. As a result, it's good to hear that you pay your dues occasionally. It's also interesting to hear Zinchenko talk about Wijnaldum's role in making Salah a more difficult proposition. Gini was another person that hard work was often unaware of, but that just underscores the fact that he's absolutely crucial to everything Liverpool do. 2 years after his departure, and the Reds arguably have yet to fill his place. New signing Alexis Mac Allister seems like the closest person to potentially doing that, but it's still very early days for him.